one. Look, it's a big, tall, skinny syrup.
About a year ago, Charlie was a normal 2-year-old and suddenly started not eating as much food and drinking more milk and more water and not wanting to eat much at all, with the result of excessive wetting through diapers, especially overnight. I took her to the doctor and thought better safe than sorry.
Do this one.
So we got the results pretty immediately, and the glucose for an average person should not have much, if any, glucose in their urine at all, and hers was close to 500. I think it was 496 maybe. So she sent us straight over to Brenner and had us admitted through the emergency department, and said that they knew that we were on our way and they would be expecting us. And that's where it all started. Okay, these are all the supplies we need to change Charlie's set, which has to be done every 2 days. We have the insulin pen where we get the insulin. These are IV stickers. They help keep the set in place and keep it from peeling up. We put one on her skin and then put the set on and then put another one on top to hold it on. This is the cartridge that we load the insulin into to go into her pump. This is her new tubing that hooks to the cartridge inside the pump, and the other end hooks to the set on her skin. And then this is the actual set that will go on her. This folds back to expose the needle that goes into her skin. That inserts the cannula just underneath her skin, and then the needle pulls out and the set stays on there, and the tubing hooks to her set. This is Charlie's pump. It has been disconnected from the set that she has on now, and in order to change the set, we have to rewind the cartridge so that we can load the new cartridge in. Then we take the old cartridge out. It's thrown away. Get that ready. And then this is the new cartridge. So we load it into the pen. Sometimes take a while.
What happens if there are bubbles in it?
If there are air bubbles in the cartridge, they transfer then to the tubing, which causes her to miss that part of the insulin. And being that she's still on a pretty minor amount, that could mean an entire unit, which would raise her blood sugar if she's not getting her insulin. Together, insert the cartridge, then we have to prime the pump, which basically just means that we get the insulin from the cartridge all the way to the very end, so that when it hooks into her cannula, she will immediately start getting her insulin. So we have to prime it. Just until we see a few drops and know that it's coming out. And then we have to get her ready. Okay. This is the needle that inserts the cannula to the set that goes in Charlie's skin. About that much of the needle goes underneath her skin. We'll work it out. I know. Do you want pink or green?
Green. There. I got the oven like that.
Can you not slam it, please?
Well, I'm frustrated.
Honey, I know that you are. Still. This would be the cause for that tantrum because her blood sugar is high. Go this way. Now I'm giving Charley blood sugar correction bolus
I want.
because her blood sugar is about 75 points higher than it should be.
Mama, I want to say something.
What would you like to say, love?
I need to talk about something fun. Because I got diagnosed by diabetes, and because I wanted to play and I wasn't eating food, and healthier things are for Charley. And
Do you try to eat healthier foods?
yes, I do.
That's very good.
Charley at her age is on 130, what they call a 135 diet. It's 135 carbs per day approximately. And what that means is that she has on average is given 45 grams of carbs per meal. They suggest that you have 5 carb or less snacks so that you can have the full 45 at each meal. If she eats a little bit less or a little bit more, it just takes some calculation with her, you know, to make sure she gets the insulin to cover her carbs. At mealtime, we check blood sugar about 30 minutes before mealtime, and her mealtime bolus is split into 2 parts. There is a glucose correction and there's a carb correction. So when we check her blood sugar, for example, if it's 130, her target is 120. So if it was 130, her pump would tell us to give her, I think, 0.05 to correct her blood sugar down to 120, and then we wait approximately 30 minutes to let that take effect, and then we do the carb correction bolus when she starts eating her food, and that is typically going to be anywhere from like 1 to 4 units of insulin to cover the carbs that she's consuming. It terrifies me. I feel like I may have a panic attack every time I think about it. I have to trust my daughter's life with someone else.
I was just being funny. You didn't know.
And I have to relinquish control and trust that someone else is going to take care of my child and love and care about them as much as I do, and that's very hard for me. Wait, let me try it again. That's very hard for me. I feel good about it, mostly. I know that people live with type 1 diabetes for years and years, and as long as we try to keep good control of it and manage it well, that she has a bright future ahead of her. Sometimes reality sets in, and I think about all the things that can go wrong with type 1 diabetics, and sometimes you can do everything right and everything exactly how you're supposed to by the book, and you still have crazy lows or crazy highs, and that scares me a little bit because it kind of falls in the category of poor management, not for lack of trying on our part. Sometimes it just happens, but the poor management is...
Don't be talking about it.
The poor management is what leads to all the ill effects of diabetes in the long run.
Stop talking.
But I love to talk about you.
Yeah, you cannot talk now.
Can you talk? I have had about 8.5 hours of sleep since Wednesday morning. Is that typical?
I typically sleep about 5 hours a night, broken up because I check her blood sugar usually twice a night, and if it's low, I have to check it about every 30 to 45 minutes throughout the night.
What do you do if it's low?
If it's low, I just keep checking it every 30 or 45 minutes, and if it gets below 70 or shows a significant downward trend, then I have to wake her up and get some carbs in her to bring her blood sugar up. You don't like the most about diabetes? What makes you the saddest?
I have diabetes.
But what about it do you not like? Is it having to eat certain foods, or having to have a set change, or the finger pricks, or does it make you feel bad sometimes?
The spaghetti. And I have to talk about something. Because diabetes aren't good and they'll kill your body.